IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. I better start this. The new year, what a brand new year. I thought I'd have a new look. So I've got this white beard, which I borrowed from somebody else much older than myself, because obviously from the beautiful black hair, this cannot be genuine. For those who think this is an audio show and can't understand a word I'm saying, just imagine a very old middle-aged man with the white hair on the chin, which is not even a real beard. It's almost like it's grotesque, frankly. It's just like animals living there, really small ones, insects of some sort. And pure black hair with the underlining of white, which I have created as my own style. Before we start this year with a bang, it's Jan 3rd, 2022, which means today is my 21st anniversary. Not mine alone, but ours. Me and, what's her name? I've got it here somewhere. Aisha, my wife. 21 years complete today. We're adults now. She, of course, is at the passport office with my daughter Maya, so I can say what I want about how marriage sucks and how terrible it is, and how I should listen to the three wise men who told me, why are you getting married? Three wise men they were. Two divorced, one dead already. But wow, what wise words. That's all gone. Time to be cheerful. We are bringing in the new year. You must be bored by now because it's day 3 of the new year. Unless you live in the Western Hemisphere, then it's day 2.
Habits? Routines? How exactly do they help us get better? Well, to simplify it for you, tune in to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashton Doctor and I'm going to be here to help you get better daily with some simple, easy to do habits that you can easily adapt to your life. So tune in to the Habit Coach podcast from Monday to Friday, because I believe that awesome lives start with awesome habits.
I'm going to bring in for our special broadcast today, Cock and Bull, first edition of 2022. Yes, folks, get used to saying it, 2022. If you're Parsi, it might come out as 2022. And let's call in Dr. Silverie and Dr. Amit Doshi, young Buccaneers, the Pirates.
Hello.
For some reason, he's doing a young Sushmita Sen and one of those early pageants.
Yeah.
Before she did
That's
the...
my Happy New Year wish.
Yeah.
Wishing everyone a very Happy New Year.
I got two questions. Is the third
Yeah.
the anniversary, or was the first the anniversary?
No, first is the anniversary of the year. Like the whole year is celebrated.
Your the Cyrus Aisha anniversary.
Third of Jan.
It is the third. It's actually
We
the
aren't
third.
that cheap that we get married on the first and then go into anybody's party and say, hey guys.
Oh no,
we're
I'm
getting
just
married.
the reason I'm
Sharing it.
asking is because it's the first day that you're recording this year, right? So maybe it might.
I
have
was
been-
thinking of telling you all that should we do a special with Aisha for the anniversary? But then I chickened out myself because she was in a great mood. And secondly, they're going to Hyderabad tomorrow. And they've got all kinds.
Okay.
This same anxiety is going on right now everywhere. Plus, trying to get the vaccine and blah blah. So all that.
Yeah,
but,
we were supposed to record an episode with Aisha towards the end of last year also, but I remember
But that
calling
was
up
in
Cyrus.
Bombay. You called me in Alibag where she's got house guests and she's so aggressive there.
Oh,
You
no,
see,
no,
the
you
animal
told me
in
that.
its habitat is very dangerous. You don't
Exactly.
go into the
You told me that.
savannas and take on the predator.
Yeah.
You do it in Bombay, where it's still my mother's house somewhat. So she's much more tempered. What you see here, by the way, folks, I mean this is no joke. It's a tempered version, watered down version, diluted version. What you see in Alibag, my God, it's like the Russell Viper. Are you crazy? The moment I just asked her after I spoke to you, I said, yeah, you wouldn't want to, right? When you say it like that, you're so scared of the person. I said, you wouldn't want to do a year ender with me and Silverie. And she was like, no, there are too many people here. Don't bother. That's it. God, really. When it comes
Fair
to
enough.
marriage and fascism, you have to understand there's nothing worse than a fascist in marriage. And I fash the fascist every single day. Get it? Fash the fascist. Oh God, you record this and keep it for posterity. So I must apologize. Beautiful Aisha, I apologize. In the guise of comedy, we say all these things. Obviously, that's listen, it's just rubbish. What a happy marriage it's been. 21 years of so many memories, guys, such as losing my bachelorhood, drinking ending,
Good times.
So,
white hair, organ failure, can't wear the same clothes.
who were the three wise men in 2000?
Three guys separately told me, why are you getting married? Like, not in a jest. As you get closer to the day and you're drinking,
Right.
two had a drinking session, one was separate. And they just clearly said, why are you getting married? Like, okay, each said it in their own ways, but this
Okay.
is, what they were trying to say. So each
Well,
one was
again,
trying to
as
say,
you're-
no, they were very,
As you're mentioning, two are divorced and one is deceased. So
one has passed away, yeah.
yeah.
But
So you're
he
not
died
really
a little
spitting
early.
on anybody's grave or
But I won't pick
Making
their
any
names
this.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because I
No,
mean,
I
what
mean,
if they change? They may have changed their
I
mind also. See, the wife may not like this at all. I don't
uh,
want to create more enmity because people they're objective in their own ways, but with time your objectivity may change, right? So it's
that's
not.
fair.
Yeah.
She knows them, so it's pointless. Uh,
That's fair.
but maybe the wise men should be taken away. Just call them three men because the three wise men means we've anointed them. Or it could be sarcastic, I suppose. But I always say this. I used to do that in my early stand up as well. I immediately noticed when I was getting married, and I'm sure most men go through this in India at least. The women are much happier about you getting married than the men. The women really freak out when you tell a woman relative or lady, elderly lady, friend or whatever. They genuine smile. It's like the people
Yeah.
who like kids, they have genuine smiles, because they really like kids. But the men, many of them, they just put on, oh, their first reaction is like, and then quickly they do a double up and say, oh, great news. But, they're already feeling bad for you. So I felt that energy immediately, right from the
That's
beginning.
interesting. One thing that I've noticed, right, a little bit is this has to do with how much people are into family things, to a great extent, right? I mean, like, I see that even men or women who are really deep into family stuff, they're very happy when other people are getting married, right? It's like, oh, we're so happy to go for the wedding, it'll be great to participate and
The
celebrate.
process, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but whereas when you're looking at people who are less involved in family stuff, married or unmarried, right? But people who are like off on their own, doing their own thing, and not like really big parts of like huge families, for them, weddings are a chore, right? I mean, like going to a wedding is a chore.
I think the same thing with home pujas, right? Even home pujas are very similar. If you're
Huh.
into that kind of stuff where you're preparing for the wedding and Ganpati is coming home and all that stuff, then you're very excited. Like, I'll put out decorations also. But if you're not, you're like, man, this is such a
You're
task.
right. These are events, the
Yeah.
process, it becomes all that. It's not their marriage or their puja. It's the community's coming together, collective thing that's going on. So they feel that. But I'm saying that nobody thinks it through. They think momentarily about the event. But this is somebody stuck in a marriage for 45 years, which most people are after that. And then it's like you're staring at each other for half your life. You're going to spend the rest of your life with just the one person in one small box, and you're going to just face their opinions, their views, their smells, their ideas, sometimes their viciousness, their aggression, their pain, their angst, their worries. I mean, who wants that? Bajriggers, they live only 3 or 4 months. Much better idea and far more loving. But nobody listens to the three wise men. So yeah,
Well.
don't you think? I mean, but marriage. Don't get me wrong, not a bad thing. I mean, you all come from nice homes and all that, and many of them have been successful marriages, etc. But don't you think it's sort of like religion, slightly jaded in idea?
It is, and it is in some ways, right? I mean, like I don't know how to put this, right? I mean, like, so it's you're asking this question at a very interesting time, right? Where because one is, and I know that this is not true just for myself, a lot of single people who were stuck at home this weekend because of the stupid Omicron stuff, right? And so conversations I had with a bunch of my single friends over Saturday and Sunday, and just there was a lot of introspection about, man, are we right, and like this is marriage, I mean, like it is kind of sucky to be by yourself at these kinds of things. There was a thing around that which came to the forefront over the weekend for me, at least.
So the pandemic definitely makes you feel the people like yourself who don't have the family around them. Fair enough,
Uh-huh.
okay. But if you take away the pandemic and a few religious festivals and whatever, where you feel alone for whatever reason, Thanksgiving in the West, Diwali or New Year's here or whatever it is, take away those things. There's a whole year. Okay,
Uh,
let's pretend there's no pandemic. It's a
no,
whole
that
year. The
but
personal
you're
freedom. Are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell your personal freedom? I want to think deep and hard about your
I
personal
know, I don't
freedom,
know.
which you have
So,
enjoyed as an adult male. You're going to sell that, and
so
that is just a sense of freedom. That's it. Forget everything
so
else.
just last week I was having a conversation with somebody about the issue around pressure for getting married, or do you want to
Mm.
get married, or are you happy? And last week, which was last year, I guess, right? At that point in time, a lot of the conversation, or at least in my mind, a lot of it, right, was really around, what, I think I'm pretty okay with the life that I've chosen. I like the fact that I can do what I want to when I want to. I like the fact that I can meet somebody at the drop of the hat. I like the fact that I can spend as much time reading as I want to without somebody giving me shit for being antisocial. I like the fact that I can watch what I want to when I want to without any consultation with anybody else. I can watch my pretty people solving crime shows, or I can watch some sort of stupid ass fucking reality engineering show. It doesn't matter. I can watch all this, right? And then I had
That's
conversations with
it's
people
a
over the
horrible admission,
weekends.
but please go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but then I had
A
conversations.
reality show on engineering. I mean,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah, I
how are you ever
love
going to get
those.
a date? I mean, we can't get you a date. Shadi.com closes. Boss, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते इनके लिए. We can't help this person.
Hey, the Mythbusters is amazingly fun. That's
You're
all I
not.
can say.
You're going to have to find. You're going to have to research long and hard.
Amit,
Yeah,
were you
sorry
ever
to cut you
close
through
to
this.
marriage in your life? Like, did you ever come out? Was there ever a point
Nice
where you were
question.
almost getting married or something?
That's an interesting question. No, I
That's the
wasn't.
floater by the spinner.
Okay.
Well bowled, Silvery. Well bowled, beta. Huh?
I have not been close. I've never come close.
But was there pressure? Silvery, you must be getting pressure.
I'm sure he
Uh,
gets pressure.
but
The
only
brothers got
like,
it.
luckily my parents, yeah,
Yeah.
luckily, but my parents are very understanding in that. They like, अगर कोई मिल रही है तो तुम्हारे ऊपर है, अगर नहीं मिल रही है तो हमें बोल दो, हम ढूंढ लेंगे. Talking about दुल्हन.
That is just the philosophy. Have they said कि 32 तक है या 35 तक है? Have they given you a cutoff?
Luckily, no.
Yeah.
Luckily, no. They haven't given like I think they don't even pressurize me that much. This talk comes up like once in like 6-7 months, which is like this is fair. It's not that bad.
I
Yeah.
look at Kunal, I look at Amit, I know all the bachelors that I know who are 40 and above. Silver, you're still living at home is a different experience. They are more or
Yeah.
less single males, they're like Westerners. And I'm thinking for them now to adapt to the female is not going to be as easy as they think. As lonely as he may have been for 72 hours, and occasionally when you feel bad and long for company and someone to talk to and all that, I don't know how they'll adapt now to somebody because
Fair point.
I mean you're used to scratching. I mean, Kunal was letting wind out in Alibag left, right, and center. I'm not allowed to do that. If I let wind out, I'm thrown out, by everybody. There are rules in families. You're a single male, there's no rules. This guy's walking around, what's so bad? Boom, what's so bad? Boom. I'm like, hey, I mean, the government said no to COVID, but what about this other friggin' menace? Who's going to take care of
Uh,
this? Oh, it's a natural thing. I'm like, you hear all this rubbish as an
uh.
excuse. But it's because he's a single male.
I imagine Kunal is walking around Alibag just yawning and farting everywhere. That's the two things.
Spot on. Silvery, this is
Yeah,
not even
I'm
comedy.
sure.
This is actually the animal at its best. And he was exactly doing that. And okay, fine, which is fair enough. It's a holiday. You might as well just, there's no work, no stress. That's the whole idea. But for the Indian male or for the male in general, I'm thinking who's tasted being alone as much as they miss, and I'm sure they all miss at certain times, and this pandemic is one of those times. But all said and done, look at your lives, Amit. How will you change? How will you adapt?
I don't know.
Engineering reality shows, there's not a partner, male or female, out there for you after that. Look at you. How will
Yeah, I
you?
know.
You want to read in the night? Okay, I can't keep the light on. I can't listen to the cricket if it's a West Indies late night series. South Africa
Yeah.
goes on late. I can't. Or you want basketball early morning? You can't put it on. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to go and take your phone into the bathroom and sit like a loser. I mean, come on, you gonna do that?
It's
Small things.
I know. I don't know, right? I mean, like in that sense, I don't know that. I like I said, I like my life, right? I like the fact that I can do what I want to when I want to, without having to. I can be selfish without recourse to for anybody, right? I'm not being unreasonable by being selfish because I don't have to worry about anybody else's comfort. I like that, but I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know that is.
We should do a show with two or three of guys from your ilk. It
Okay.
can't be Silvery's age. It's got to be 40 plus because you've tasted blood. I feel it's very difficult for you all now to. It's not like you become bad people or whatever, but it's just that your tribe is your tribe now. This is what you are. I'm thinking it's going to be hard to then settle down with people, kids, which you do very well with other people's kids, other people's wives, and
Yeah.
everything else. You're really great with all of that, but
No, no, but
in your own space
no.
where
So
they take
I
away
mean,
your
like
power slowly.
kids is a done deal at this point, right? I don't want kids. That's a done deal. I don't think that there's any question about that. I enjoy
If you
my
do,
friends'
I
kids
got lots of
for.
people who will offer you theirs. Yeah.
I enjoy hanging out with my friends' kids for a couple hours, and that's good enough. I don't need anything more than that, right? I mean, like that's I'm happy, spending 2 hours at a time with a kid. I anything more than that, and then it gets, yeah, it
Have
gets
you ever had
tough.
to babysit like your cousins'
Many
kids or
times.
something?
But
Okay, okay, nice.
that's like going on a date, Silvery. We've discussed this also. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
You go on a date with a new girl or guy or whatever. The whole thing is a great experience, right? Because everybody's on their best behavior. You put Amit for
yeah.
2 hours with a child, no matter how irritating, he has the ability to wear off that
Yeah,
pain. But you put him there for the rest of his life and he'll crack in under 2 hours because the whole
Yeah,
thing is
that's
so
different,
scary.
the
Yeah.
dynamic.
So 2 hour babysitting, no problem. I've done 4 hour babysitting. That gets to be challenging. And when it gets like full day managed children, that point I can't do it. I can't
Bro,
handle
bro, you can do it. You can do it because there's an end in sight, whatever, however long the end is. There
it.
is
Yeah.
no end in sight now. Your culture changes. There's a subcultural change once you have all these people. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you got to compromise all the time. You cannot do anything without telling them, or just your whole life changes, and you answer to none. You're master of your domain, like that stupid show that didn't work. What happens? Your master is gone out of the window. And remember, I had a stupid friend, really idiotic, moronic friend who made this innocuous remark. Arey yaar, I got married for regular sex. I was like, oh, cut to any married couple after 10 or 15 years. You know, I mean, you
Yeah,
can't.
that's what we
So,
all.
okay,
That's what
if the
we
sex
hear.
goes
Yes.
out of the window, the companionship doesn't grow into some, they're two great philosophers, a meeting of minds. That's all great in the poetry books, but it doesn't really happen. Then you have children, so then you become like a business partnership and you function like that, limited liability, and you try to get that through. That keeps you going. And that keeps you together because they always be the forefront of your thoughts and all that. But if you don't have children and you're stuck together, I can just see after some time people just the
Yeah.
paintings talk to you. You're just sitting there waiting for time to pass. Imagine in the pandemic. So Amit, it's better to be alone sometimes rather than be with a couple who have nothing to say to each other. I've seen these couples, and other people say, "Look at their silence; they're so comfortable." They're not comfortable. They're fucking bored.
So this stuff, basically, honestly, I feel like during the entire pandemic, and again, I'm. This is not. This is three, four conversations, males and females both, right? About the New Year's and the post New Year's kind of this, right? Definitely, I could sense that there was that there was this kind of thing, but I'm guessing the same people. If I talk to them a week, 10 days from now, no regrets, right? It's just that. I don't think it's weird that that wistfulness shows up every so often, right? That would it be interesting? Because I mean, it's the same as like reflecting over the path not taken or whatever you want to call that, right?
Yeah, but okay, look at it from the woman's point of view. Let's just change track here for a second. How many women we know, and I'm talking about urban women now, but let's stick to our
Yeah,
area only, have given up their lives in a sense to be mothers, and after some time they don't get a second
way
life.
too many,
You see, where they were working, huh?
way too many, way too
Way too
many.
many. And then you can see the frustration, chat with them. I love talking to elder women. I always think that women with mustaches may like me. So I try to, that's my market. But no, seriously, honestly, chat with them. And if they open up a little bit, sometimes you start thinking, oh God, your life has been stolen. Ouch, that's like a crime. Because they were working, they
Yeah,
studied hard, they did well. The boys,
Yeah,
girls, you're all together till the mid 20s. Then boom, something happens. The men continue and the women don't continue sometimes very often. And then what happens because they're 42, the kids are in college. And now what do they do with their lives? They're very much fully functioning women at 42. And they
yep.
can't just be making celery chapati at home. It's got to be more to life than that.
yeah.
So that's like another crime.
I know. I
Ladies,
agree.
stand up. This is the podcast for you.
This used to be like a thing in Bollywood also, right? Like in 90s Bollywood or something. There used to be all these women actresses who were doing
Yeah,
well and they had like flourishing careers
yeah.
and they would get married and then they
It's still
stopped acting
it's
because
still it's now
But
thanks to
that's
OTT.
it's
Yeah, it's still there. In terms of
yeah,
number one leading ladies, where do they go back to that avatar? That
yeah.
goes out of the window for
yes,
them the moment they have a kid.
yeah,
Let's
Yeah.
name one name. I don't let's not name names. It's mean.
yeah,
But
it's not
Yeah,
named names.
no, but I mean, it's a pattern. It's not just the 80s, 80s or 90s. I mean, like it was. I think like it's there all the way past, right? All the way in the past, and even now, right? I mean, like most of the actresses who were big in the 2000s are not really doing the same kinds of roles.
okay, so let's take a name. A lovely girl, Preeti Zinta, did a lot of good work, and then
Yeah,
towards late 30s, it just dries up. She gets married, and it's done. That's it.
yeah,
But it won't happen
that,
with the males. The males are going strong in their 50s.
yeah.
The same generation of actors. You
60s,
look at
dude. I
all.
mean, like who somebody just turned 60, didn't they? One of the
I
like big stars, I think, just
Arms
turned
in their
60.
middle 50s. Akshay is the same age. Maybe Sunny. Oh, he's googling. Sunny must be
Sunny is over 60 for sure. He turned 60 a while ago.
Sanjay Dutt is over 60.
I think Sanjay Dutt might be it.
Uh,
Sunny is 65.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, Sunny Deol is only 8 years younger
Wow.
than 7 years younger than my mom. That's
Wow.
kind of crazy. That really is kind of crazy. But I
Sanjay
think it
Dutt
was
just
Sanjay.
turned 62.
Yeah, it was Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt is who I was thinking of. He just turned 60 recently.
62. No, 62.
No,
62.
62. Yeah, but I mean, like recently 60.
Okay. Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Baman turned 63. And Kunal had to attend his birthday party in Chandigarh. But I won't
Anil
bring that up now.
Kapoor is 65.
Really? He's in pretty good shape for
Yeah,
65. Huh?
What a baller, yeah.
1956. Jackie Shroff.
Not 1942, a love story?
Huh?
Sorry. I said not 1942, a love story, huh?
No. Jackie
Oh.
Shroff is 64. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
So Jackie's still working. Okay, not as much as in his heyday, but still
Yeah.
lots of work. With the OTT, some
Yep.
women are getting a little rebirth and all that because the whole style of cinema and whatever is
Yep.
changing, web series, and
Ravina
they're playing
Tandon
different
just did
roles.
something new, no?
Ravina
She was in
Tandon
that
has come
Netflix
back.
show.
Vidya Balan is very much still there
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
But you're thinking that they're positioned as the top heroines who are the romantic leads. That's just not allowed, and that's so unfair to so many generations before that. I mean, let's go back in time. Generations before that, they're given 5-10 years, and then they get married or get close to
Yeah.
the magical 35, 40, and they're gone.
But
That's
that's it sucks, but it's what the this is, right? I mean, like the it's a, how do you put it? It's a
sexist world.
it's more than sexist. It's a shallow kind of non-depthful kind of this, right? It is sexist for sure. It manifests in sexism, right? But I would say that the primary impulse behind it, I don't know if the primary impulse is sexism, as in let's keep the women down, or if the primary impulse is this kind
No,
of
it's not coming from the industry. It's
oh,
coming from the market.
yeah, it
That's the
is
scary part. The
exactly.
market's idea is that we don't like you as a sexy symbol if you're married. That now you've broken my heart. So Raju and Rajesh and Mahesh and Rajesh who are watching together and holding hands as Indian men do when they watch romantic shows,
Again, that's changing though. That's definitely changing now.
it's changing, but it's there in our subconscious that oh, she's married. I don't know
I
how
get it.
it doesn't work with the male. Explain that to me. When the female gets married, something goes in your head. Ting, oh, gone. Now I can't be her lover. I don't know, something like that goes in your head. It comes down
Yeah.
to that. When the male gets married, nothing. Oh, how sweet. Oh, great. He's got married. Well done. Whatever. It makes no difference. Sometimes it's even good.
Yeah, no, you're
So
not wrong.
that we have to ask ourselves this question, brother. Why do we? And when the educated males also. I'm not talking about just people from another sort of culture. It's
Mm.
us, all of us. We suck.
No,
Well,
because your chances with men never stop even after marriage. I think you still have a chance with a man even if you're married.
Superb, out of the park.
You
Well
think about it.
played. New Year's
I
greetings
think
to
that's
you,
what it is.
Silvery.
Yes,
Finding some
yes.
positivity and absolute carnal negativity and depravity. I love it. I love your thinking. And let me tell you, you
It is
brought
what it
everybody
is.
back
Yeah.
into our show because we were getting too serious in the first podcast of 2022. We have to keep it light because people are sort of in pain and dying, partly because of
Okay.
the show and partly because of COVID. The good news is that was
Let's
one of our topics as we reached 6:22 p.m.
absolutely.
we finally got
Let's
one topic done.
By the
yeah.
way, so
I
sorry,
have
before we get into it, because once we get into it, we can't get out of it. What did you
okay.
do on 31st? I mean, you mentioned about being cold and lonely on your rocking chair, looking at the wall,
I was at home only.
playing with spiders.
So what
You
wound
were
up happening is that so a friend of mine is down from Malaysia. Malaysia's rules on going back are really strict, and so because
Mm.
of that, no plans for the 31st or whatever were there were kind of dropped. And so then after that, I kind of more or less there was nothing I really wanted to do at that point. So I was like, screw it.
so there were no house parties with 10 people or anything.
No, not really. I mean, like again, that was initially the plan, but then
They put the fear
that
of
got
God.
canned. Yeah, there is a lot of this, right? Also, a lot of people are getting infected, and so the thing is that these guys are down from Malaysia, right? And if they get sick, then they're screwed in all kinds of different ways when they go back, right? I mean, like they have to institutionally quarantine, or who knows what happens on the way.
Also, Indians traditionally are very good with rules when they're not in India. So
Yeah,
let's remember that. When they're going back to Malaysia, they will be following it. Silvery, you
yeah.
had a big plan with the comic community and all. Remember that one place you were going to? Are Baba, you
Yeah, so
mentioned
we
the.
were going to have, but then yeah, correct. I mentioned a venue that we were going to put up shows,
Yeah,
but what happened was that all those
and
shows were getting
BYOB.
canned because so the week previous to that, the week that I said no that we are doing these shows, that week some cops showed up at the venue and told the venue to not do shows for like a week. So we had to let that week go altogether, and now hopefully we'll be back from either
No,
this
but
week or
what is
next
the
week.
reason behind him saying this? How can a cop just come and say, don't do it
Keep
for a
it
week?
down. Too many people, like or anything.
No, we got to follow. This is what I'm saying. This can't just be arbit stuff.
They came and said the neighbors have complained. That's like the most convenience thing, man.
Yeah.
The neighbors have complained. There's noise coming out from the venue.
About the number of people.
About the noise
Noise is
also.
different issue
Yeah,
altogether.
correct. Both. They said number of free people and noise. So yeah. They just
Listen, in India,
looking for
rules are
money.
such
Yeah,
that anybody can shut anything down for anything.
Yeah, and
exactly.
once they
And
start throwing, isn't there a case? Isn't it Adler or someone who said that you can't have seven? It's not like a RICO thing. 32 reasons for destroying the place. It's always one clear reason. When they start
yeah,
saying, "Oh, the noise is too much, the barata vada is poisoned, the parking is not possible," it starts to sound something wrong. So maybe it's a personal enmity issue
it
which he got
is.
caught in.
It could be that, but it also could just be the thing is that these guys do have these cops do have a lot of stress on them, right? In terms of
Yeah,
what is to be allowed, what is not to be allowed, and they're just like, hey, if we can shut this down, let's shut this down.
as social.
That's their default. It's stupid. It sucks, but that's
We are amateur social scientists, Amit. Let's be honest. We're pretty
of
good
course.
actually, all three
Yeah.
of us. And I would think that it's the flight or fight mechanism in play, even from the point of view of the bureaucrat, the lawmaker, or the law executor, if you want to call him that, where they also, as persons, think of fight or flight. And flight
Right.
means, okay, I don't want to get this. I don't want anything to do with this. Just everybody not come.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes the right response. Also, not like flight is not the right response. But I'm just thinking, for entertainers, if they can't find a middle ground, we're going to just kill people, entertainers, restaurants. I mean, those who can't do deliveries or live off that. I spoke to a guy in Krishna, our favorite Krishna, which of course now
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
iconic.
I
And
was
in the first bit, I think they had kept only 10% were let go. With the
okay.
second one in 2021, when we went in the same time when we shut down, about 50% were let go. And this is, you can talk to other restaurateurs also, because they were able to hold on. Don't worry, beta, we won't let you go and all that. But after some time, money talks, and business is business, and their figures on
Yeah.
a balance sheet. What are you going to do?
Yeah. No, how can you keep so the thing is just this, and this is what people sometimes don't realize in these situations, right? If you can't keep your business running, you have to let everybody go. Better to let some go, right? But it's just how else do you do this, right? Because I mean, like again, I talk to a lot of people who own restaurants, and I just know the kind of shit they have to deal with these days. Because again, this is what it comes down to, right? There is no transparency in terms of rules. They don't know what the rules are. On Thursday, was it? Yeah, on Thursday. So there was a plan to go to, surprisingly enough, Trishna on Sunday afternoon, right?
Wow.
And so
Very
on,
popular in the 90s to go on Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
yeah, I like going to Trishna on Sunday afternoon. It's the
No,
best time to
there was
go.
again this small world of people who did that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because
I think it's
it's
advertising world. Yeah.
it probably is advertising people because back then all of them were in town, right? So then yes, but I so we were supposed to go to Trishna for lunch on Sunday afternoon, but on Thursday evening, somebody circulated a WhatsApp message saying that Maharashtra government is shutting down all restaurants, right? And so we're like, oh,
For
okay, if that's happening, then we should probably not. But it was Maharashtra government is shutting down all restaurants for parties, not
yeah,
for
and
this, right?
and
Not just dinner dining. But now the thing is that nobody trusts, everybody looks at all of these WhatsApp stuff, WhatsApp messages that come, and you just assume there's some truth to it, right? And so part of this group is a bunch of friends of mine who have restaurants, and so they were like, but we have not heard anything yet from the restaurant body, so this is probably not true. But everyone's like, yeah, you know what, true or not, I don't think we want to take a chance.
if you're on the other hand, if you're a prankster, misinformation and the internet, I mean, it's such a beautiful game that you can play
It
all your
is.
life. And the more serious the situation, the more fun you can literally have.
Yeah.
You can send anything out in the universe and people are going to panic because, again, fight or flight will be in place. So you can
Yes.
imagine. But coming back to the entertainment world again for a second, I find this very sad that they had something in place, and because they've allowed 50% at the venue, 50% at the restaurant. So what was the deal with entertainment? Did they say clearly that you can't have any shows on 31st night?
I don't
Traditionally
think
a big
anybody
night
knows.
for entertainment.
So yeah. So what happened was on 31st they came out. So I'm reading an article again right now also, which says that the Maharashtra government has announced like curbs for from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. For the next 15 days. This came out on 31st. We read this news, this article.
That's for open parks and all that.
Yeah,
Playing
exactly, for
cricket,
open parks.
football,
But that's
walks,
also for
runs,
applies to public gatherings also, right? So the thing is, even though ours is a private property,
indoor. That was outdoor, I think. This is indoor. Yours is indoor, right?
but so again, they also said like in that thing, they also said like to home parties also and to terrace parties. I read this article. Cops had said, "Ki, we know we can't keep track, so we would ask neighbors to tell us if there is like a party going on in their vicinity,
Oh,
Be the
amazing.
tail tattler.
So they're basically
No.
So basically, they want to apply the Texas abortion law to Indian New Year's parties.
exactly. That's
The same people
they're
in
like,
charge.
we can't make sure that कौन से terrace पे party चल रही है. So you let us know if you hear a party happening on your terrace, and we will like show up and
Oh,
take
10
money
But
people
and
on
whatever.
31st night.
What's the
So,
definition of party? What if four of me and three of my friends go up and we play music loudly on the terrace? Is that a party?
I think
Yeah.
5 plus or more was their restriction, if I'm not wrong.
I don't think it was 5. It was 25. I think it
that's just
wasn't 5.
144. They,
Oh.
they, they don't have any numbers. These are people are making up numbers in their
Yeah, that's what.
heads. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
see, we are not clear. Yeah.
And some irate neighbor, personal grudge against Mr. Das's kids, who are a little bit, hep and flaunted a little bit or whatever, better looking than his kids. I don't know what the reasons are. And they just, just use your enmity issues to, start a war for nothing. It's just stupid. I don't know. But on the other hand, we're still a little better off than the West. When parts of the West, they've like Holland went on full lockdown. Or you'd think that's
Yeah.
one of the most liberal and easygoing places in the world, but they're panicked. Sydney went into a full lockdown for a little while. I mean, so
Like
we-
banks are shutting down again. All their employees are working. A lot of bank employees are working from home. I have friends who work for banks, and now again they are already just started going twice a week to work from 5-day week, and now again they started working from home. Those poor
man,
guys.
this is terrible. You get used to only 2 days going to work and all that. Then you go back. Then
Yeah.
no going to work. Then I mean, for someone who doesn't like working per se, it's really irritating. Also, after some time, with that discipline that allows you to get into one box and just stay in it, that goes out of the window. They keep making you go up and down. Your mind is. I think we need narcotics along with. The
You don't know
vaccine.
what to do though, man. I mean, I spent so Kavita, myself, and Tejas, we spent 20 minutes talking about this today. I mean, like, what do we do here, right? Are we supposed to keep open as if there's no problem whatsoever, or are we supposed to have people come in and out as necessary, or what are we?
Also,
what-
if a lot of the employees get it, then will you be blamed? Right? Is it your
Yeah,
responsibility?
and
Because
again,
you said no. You said come if you want to come.
But I don't know. I mean, like at this point in time, I think so. That's what it is for everybody anyway. Come if you want to come, right? I mean,
That's
like
what I'm
that's
saying.
kind of where we're at anyway. But in the
Silvery, you're saved. You record this, you keep it. It's there for
Damn it, why did I
posterity.
come today?
6 months after the pandemic, you can just have your foot in.
well, but seriously, what do you do, right? I don't know what to do. I'm like completely stumped. Do we keep open? Do we shut down for a little bit? Do we shut it, like keep it so that only certain number of people are coming into office? Keep a good track. I saw Aisha's there. You can wish her happy anniversary. But yeah,
I'll bring it to the frame. They want to wish you. Sorry, Amit. We'll get back to our subject.
It's my
Happy
anniversary.
anniversary!
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
She
If I
can't
get a
hear us.
prize, 21 years is no mean feat with this.
Yeah, wow.
Can
That
you hear-
is true.
Wow.
He is his
Very
own
good.
prize.
What is
Cyrus is
he
the-
his own
Cyrus
prize?
is-
What
Cyrus
shit,
is the
Amit?
prize.
What shit?
It's a Gujarati entrepreneur.
Don't be
He knows how to
silly.
handle the ball. You can't get a rupee out of him right now. Just
I don't
relax.
want a
He's
rupee.
dealing with pandemic and
I
employees
want a
collapsing.
trophy. I want a big, thick platinum colored trophy.
Okay, we can give
Okay.
you.
We can
why
figure
don't
that
give
out.
Abbas.
Random color trophy we can figure out.
Abbas he's like a trophy. Have you seen Abbas? He's huge. Can we
Yeah,
send
sure.
Abbas?
Yeah, cool.
We
We'll
can
send Abbas
try.
to your house then.
That's what I
Yeah.
want. Diamonds.
Well, platinum is here, right here. I love Aisha says him. Read.
And
Somebody
she
said I
gives
love
us the
Aisha.
finger.
And she's
Didn't read. You showed the finger. Can you put that thing up again? Hemi says she's a regular listener. I love Aisha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a fan.
As should Cyrus.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
It's difficult to love anyone after 21 years. Okay? All right?
Great.
I'm
Happy
getting more fond
anniversary,
of
guys.
Hemisha. I'm getting
Great.
more fond of Hemisha than Aisha, to be honest, right now. Well, should we
Okay.
take a break? It's 6:33.
Yes, please.
Yes, let's do that. Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On this year-end special of Think Fast, Varun and Suchita give their predictions on what lies ahead for the world of business and startups in 2022. We have Manjima Chatterjee with us on Audio Gyan. She is a drama explorer and educator. Kedar and Manjima talk about the new education policy, Bengali plays, and a whole lot more. On a Cock and Bull episode of Cyrus Says, Antariksh and I join Cyrus to discuss New Year resolutions, no restaurant food for cops, and COVID self-tests. On All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk discuss major events and trends in the tech policy space and their expectations for 2022. On Simplified, the gang looks back at how the last 12 months have passed for them personally. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, do tell a friend. The word of mouth absolutely is essential to us. Don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms that you've been listening to. And also, I'd like to ask everybody to check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels going. You can find all of them on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, CoinSwitch Kuber, and Intel. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Wow. You cracked it.
Very
I figured
I
it
true.
know.
out because I'll tell you, all our life we like, especially for society upgraded products. I hate to say it, the foreign voice, the accented voice. Okay, and if you see, even the voiceovers initially were in tune with that. And see, I
Huh.
was missing Amit's voiceover ads. Tarun Kaushik loves it immediately. So we have to keep this. A, we don't have to pay him extra for this, and he's got a natural American twang without being overtly American. So I think it's fabulous. We in-house voiceover artists to raise the platform a little bit. What do you
There
think,
you go.
Silvery?
Yep,
Was that
absolutely.
live,
Yeah, very
Amit?
cool.
Tapan wants to know. Just say yes.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
it
he was
was,
on the
Yeah,
fly. It
yeah,
was very cool.
yeah, yeah. I was just in the
as
back,
live as
just doing
21 years
it.
of
Yeah.
marriage. Yeah.
No, no, it was not live. It was
Very cool.
something that I record these on Thursdays, and then basically we're putting them together after that.
And I'll tell you why. Because the government shut him down. He was going to party, but they
Well,
said no
actually,
terrorist parties. He couldn't meet his friends. He had to sit at home and cry. So instead, he used his creative mind and channeled his inner demons. And in a positive way, he did this for us. So from that angst and pain was created this beautiful work of prose and poetry put together.
no.
Wonderful.
So we want to start doing these for all of our like actual ads, the the people who pay us for this stuff.
Yeah.
But we wanted to try it out, like try out how it works and see that the technicals
Prathalip
behind
will
it
be
work
very
correctly.
happy because look, you can't charge. Don't you understand? I think it's fabulous. I mean, एक और voice over करो building society का meeting के लिए. And you'll just be doing this all day on the side. Sounds like a great plan. But only thing,
No,
Silvery, the accented voice, especially for
Yeah,
anything in English in India, the accented, not the fake accent, the genuine accent, they just get the job always.
correct, correct. Obviously, why would you not? So also, if a disembodied voice, I would say an American disembodied voice is just more popular as to if an American disembodied voice is telling me to buy something, I'm more
Yeah,
like
correct.
I'm going
And
maybe
the
I would buy it
complex here is
more.
the American voice sounds
Mm.
like a genuine entertainer. So you know this is a genuine talent. This is
Yeah,
a genuine entertainer,
correct, correct,
not our
correct,
desi
correct.
voices will come there and
Yeah.
make some strange comments. So yeah, this is a beautiful complex that we have. I enjoy it. I hope it stays. But I've
yeah,
noticed
no,
this all
we'll
from the
start
beginning.
doing this. You're gonna get frustrated with this fairly quickly. It's like a minute in the middle of your episode every day. You'll get tired with this.
It was fine.
Okay.
I don't. I think the creative was fine actually. It was real and
Yep.
normal. Sometimes the creative is a little irritating when you try too hard. Which at least I get very irritated very fast with that. But this was fine. This was spot on in the sense it just mentioned quickly what these people are up to, and if you're interested, tune in. And then
Yeah.
a little bit of begging happened at the end to our listeners, but we're in a
Must,
position where we need to do that. And
of
then
course, must beg.
with like Joe
Oh,
Rogan, with success will come arrogance, and we'll treat them badly after that. We'll tell them where to
yeah.
go. Apparently, he's very upset with New York mayor, New York governor, who said that he shouldn't be allowed in the city because he wanted to come and perform, and they said that no one who has not had the vaccine should be allowed in the city. Forget perform, and they
Mhm.
passed a bill called the Joe Rogan bill. Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but
Oh, really?
I saw one of his shorts.
No, but that's the rule, right? That's why Kyrie Irving is not playing. But the rule in New York City is that you are not allowed to perform in New York City if you are not vaccinated. That's the rule.
Okay, so
Uh,
what would you do if Joe Rogan was to perform here in India, or one of your favorites, whoever
I
your
would
favorite
change
is?
the laws. I would
uh,
change the
Would you
laws
go
to
to would
yeah,
get
you go
Joe
and
he's,
watch him
Rogan.
on principle, or would you not go?
well, I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, I don't know.
I would go. Joe Rogan coming to India. I'm gonna go, man. This is what
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd go and
Also,
see
like
Joe
I
Rogan do
like his stand
stand
up.
up. Yeah, I'd go and see him do
Yeah.
stand up. But I mean, like, his podcast has been pissing me off.
Okay, sure.
It
Okay,
really
yeah,
has. It's been pissing me off,
I think
right?
the
I mean,
problem
like,
with too much success is that it just has to breed arrogance. It just has to. You can't stop yourself. You start not believing your own myth and your own rules about your way. Sorry, go on.
so I think one of the things happens, right? That happens to people, and it's a natural human characteristic, right? Is when you are consistently antagonistic or you're consistently antagonized by somebody, right? In Joe Rogan's case, it is the left and the liberalish kind of establishment. In the case of restaurant owners, it is the governments of Maharashtra and India, right? Because this was something that was coming up in the context of restaurant ownership, right? That it basically turns you into a thing where you want to fight these people. You're like, fuck them. Everything you say is wrong. I don't give a shit. I'm going to go
It becomes
against
like
them.
racism. You get the prejudice into your blood, and it
Yeah.
becomes like another fabulous. I love it.
No.
It's how
And
people can hate people for the rest of their lives.
yeah, I think it really does grow like that, right? If you are consistently facing criticism from one side or one angle or one group of people, you're going to grow antagonistic to people who are antagonizing you.
Djokovic in the Aussie Open, which is about to start, is having the same problem. He's still not confirmed. There are a few days
Hey,
left for the start of the tournament. Yeah.
No, no, go, please continue, continue.
No, I'm saying the same thing. So
Yeah,
now the
okay.
question is, again, he's the best in the world, etc., etc. It's all
Hmm.
about his freedom. All right, he's making a point. He doesn't have to make a point. He's just a professional tennis player. He can just get on with it. But he's making a point that you can't tell me to vaccinate. It's just against the idea of being told what to do. The sense of freedom is being taken
Yeah.
away. My democratic rights are being taken away, and you are telling me you're oppressing me. But tell me what to do. See, that's the same philosophy Joe Rogan has. Now the question is, if you are the number one tennis player or the number one podcast or one of the top entertainers in the world, do you need to have this responsibility where you have to think beyond yourself and say, I have to take this for the team and look at the bigger picture of the world? Or do you actually believe your own myth or your own story, or really believe in your righteous indignation on this matter, that freedom first?
It's a interesting question, but again, see, the thing is that if these questions were easy, then the answers would be obvious, right?
Yeah.
It is an
Yeah.
interesting question in that sense. I understand.
The answer is obvious. Amit, you, Silvery, let's say one of you is the best tennis player and one of you is the best entertainer in the world. You
Yeah,
would, knowing you would be taking the bloody vaccine even if you weren't
of
so
course I
keen.
would.
You just do it
Of
because
course I
you'd say
would.
it's just not worth my fight, this fight. The world is suffering or whatever.
It's not just that, right? I mean, like,
No, the ego is playing a very big role here. That's what
it
I'm
is.
trying to say. The ego is playing a huge role. And the ego is because of the
But is it
yes.
just them? But is it just celebrities? Because again, there are 40% of the US is
Yeah.
unvaccinated. Probably about 50% of India is unvaccinated. Vaccines are reasonably well
In
available.
India's case, I don't think it's always because of a sense of democracy. We have no sense of freedom in any case. We want to go to the next Malik and touch his feet.
There is
But
hesitancy in India. I think I feel like we've spoken about this before, but I had a conversation with somebody who looks into like this kind of demographic data and stuff like that, right? And that person was telling me that the number of places where we see vaccine hesitancy is surprising, right? Like in Muslim communities, it's an issue. In
Hmm.
Swaminarayan communities, it's an issue. In
the
hardcore,
issues are saying that God will protect me and all that. I'm not
oh,
talking about that. I'm talking about where the guy says you don't have the right to tell me what to do. You're
oh,
forcing me to
okay.
take the basis of that is that. Then Joe Rogan goes into his immunity and I have immunity and natural immunity and blah blah blah. But the basis of the thinking of people in the West who do it is that you're basically oppressing my right to be an
Yeah.
individual and do what I want to do. I
Yeah.
don't have to do what you say. That's the thing.
Another popular theory that has made the rounds because of this vaccine thing, I think we talked about it also, is that these vaccine companies it's in their interest to not have a vaccine that works, right? So that's another reason why people are like,
That's a
okay, I don't know
huge
what.
that's a huge
Yeah.
pessimistic weapon to throw out on
It
2022
is,
first week, young
but
man. Really.
I know, but
That people are
it,
so evil. It's like
we'll see.
genocide.
Yeah,
We'll just give you a week
yeah.
one and then lots more will die. I'll give you another week one, lots more will die. As a piece of
Or to
business,
have
I
a
applaud
vaccine
you.
that even works. People are saying, okay, oh, vaccine doesn't work also because these vaccine companies, why will they give me the cure when they can just have me taking the vaccine endlessly again and again, fourth dose, fifth dose, sixth dose. It's not in their best interest to have when it get done with two doses.
Is this philosophy based on the road situation? That because the tar that's used on roads generally is only 80% or 70% pure, and so you have to keep redoing the roads. So we have this inbuilt thing in India that nothing is going to last. Everything is there for a little while. The vaccine, the roads. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes
But
sense.
it's just such dumbassery, right? I mean, like, it's such dumbassery to kind of like, people who say that, oh, the vaccine, I got the vaccine and I got COVID, or this person got the vaccine and got COVID. That means the vaccine doesn't work. Is such, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's disingenuous, but it's just plain stupid, right? Because the the fact is that there are millions of things in this world which don't work 100%, but you add enough things together which work 90-95% and you get to 100% solution. That's how the world works. Nothing like a car, a seatbelt is not 100%, airbags are not 100%, brakes are not 100%. Nothing is 100% going to protect you, right? But having all of this stuff just makes life safer, and I don't understand how this is difficult.
I'm okay. See, I'm saying that there's paranoia, there's illogic, there's insanity sometimes, but they're still in some ways victimized, in their heads. But I'm talking about like the girl in the aircraft who refused to wear the mask. Okay, even when she's being told 250 times. You've all seen that video. All these great legends that we mentioned, like Djokovic or Rogan, who are the apex of the world's VIPs. And
Uh,
these guys, the whole thing is to do with who they are. And from there,
did you hear the story of the NFL quarterback, Aaron Rodgers?
refused.
Okay, no. So this is the thing, not refused. So in the NFL, there are a number of players who are not vaccinated. There's a set of rules for players who are vaccinated and a set of players who are not vaccinated. At the press
Ooh.
conference, this guy was asked, As in, like, how much you're allowed to go out, how much tracking needs to be done. All of these things are kind of calibrated based on whether you're vaccinated or not. So
Yeah.
in a press conference, this guy was asked, "Are you vaccinated?" He replied, "Yes, I've been immunized." Or he replied something along the lines, "I've been immunized." And then comes out that he was taking some homeopathic bullshit.
No,
And
so he said
Ah.
yes, I've been immunized, or
no,
he
he didn't.
said
He didn't say. He said, "I've been immunized."
he answered it by saying I've been immunized,
I've
and
been
he's taking
immunized. Yeah,
homeopathy.
yeah, I'm immunized,
Mm.
or I'm immunized, or something like that. He said something like that, right? I don't know if he said the word yes beforehand. I feel like he did say that, use the word yes, because that turned it into a direct lie, which I think was there. But basically, he was using the word immunized instead of vaccinated, right?
Hmm.
And some homeopathic bullshit he's using.
But he didn't drop the ball. He went on with it.
Well, no,
He
he
could
got
have gone.
he
He
got
could have been
infected with
confrontational. Yeah. No, what I'm saying, he wasn't
he
confrontational.
got infected with COVID. His team was like way ahead, and has
Oh man.
caused some issues. I think they're still okay, but it has caused some issues.
Oh, so I saw this movie on an based on an NFL guy, Blindside. Don't ask me
Oh
names. I'm
yeah,
bad with names.
that's a great movie, the
Sandra
Sandra
Bullock.
Bullock
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
Sandra
So
Bullock.
great
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
very
not
good movie.
basketball. It's
NFL.
yeah, NFL.
But
Oh,
it's
okay.
about how
Yeah.
the left tackle has to protect the guy because that's his blind side, the quarterback
Yeah.
from the
There are some really
that's
good American football movies. Have you guys seen this movie called VR Marshall, starring Matthew McConaughey?
No, I have not. What's it called? Sorry.
No, it's VR
okay.
Marshall. It's loosely
Okay.
actually inspired from Manchester United story, where they
Okay.
lost a lot of their members in a plane crash, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this is basically based in America though. It's an American
Okay.
football team. I think they were called Marshall something, and
Okay.
the Marshalls or something like that. And it's about this team loses their entire like
I
half of their
shall
team,
check it.
and it's like a whole thing. Yeah,
I
pretty cool.
shall check it out.
Matthew McConaughey. This is actually one of the first non-romantic rom-com roles that Matthew McConaughey did before then getting going on to True Detective and all that, and then the
Well,
Oh, so this is even
now,
old. This is not
yeah,
a newish
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
but now
yeah,
that you
not
mention
not
all
that.
that, my son is very upset because Klopp has got COVID. I mean, all across the Western world of sports, people are getting COVID as we speak.
Yeah.
And I think Rishi has put this up. Have you read it?
No, no.
His exact line, Rogers' line is, "Yeah, I've been immunized." So, yeah,
Yeah.
that means he's agreed. So that's yeah, it is a
He
direct
said,
line.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I've been,
yeah.
yeah." So there you go. So it is this, right? No, but it's a problem. I was just like, before we started, I was looking up the number of NBA players who've been pulled out for COVID reasons in like the last few months, and the numbers are crazy, right? Like the Atlanta Hawks have 11 players pulled out for COVID. It's a basketball team. A basketball team has 12 players. They had 11
Oh
pulled
The
out
wow.
full
for
squad
COVID.
is only 12.
Yeah, so
Oh,
12
cheap.
is the number. 12 is the number of players you have, like an extra practice squad, one or two
Five
people.
on the court and seven more.
Seven more. Yeah,
That's
12 is your
it.
roster. That's
So
it.
everybody gets to play
So that's
almost.
Yeah,
the well, not it. So generally, most teams play eight. Most teams play 9 or 10 deep.
अरे
Uh,
हिंदुस्तान का जंबो स्क्वाड है क्रिकेट में जंबो स्क्वाड बिकॉज ऑफ पैंडेमिक 33 प्लेयर्स हाँ
the one player from that team who did get the vaccine would be the last substitute. Like the last player, the very last. He'll be like, okay, this is my chance. I know nobody else is getting a vaccine. I can play 1 versus 5 at least. Something I can do. Oh well,
wow
nothing
yeah
happens.
it's
but
insane. And I mean, like, it's just one, right? I mean, like, I think the NBA has canceled like 10 games, 12 games since December because of
Mm.
COVID reasons. They don't call it COVID, they call it the health and safety protocols.
I mean these
Right.
are all contact sports in a sense I mean
Yeah.
it's also a little silly you're jumping over each other you're touching the same ball you're all over each other all the time so if you
Yeah,
don't get the vaccine then really I mean over a period of time I mean really Kabaddi, for example, if they don't take the vaccine and play Kabaddi, I mean, they're mounting each other, grown men jumping on each other in sexual ways sometimes. What's going on?
most of these NBA players are vaccinated. I think the NBA has like a 95 or 97% vaccination rate. Most of
And
these players are
who's
vaccinated.
the ones who are not vaccinated? Do they have so called medical reasons, which apparently they're 1 out of 1 million have?
There are a couple, right? So there are two names that come to mind in terms of who are prominent in the non-vaccinated. One is Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic, who religious reasons he's not getting vaccinated for religious reasons.
What does that mean?
Uh, no, I mean, like, his religion says don't take these kinds of medications. You're polluting your body. You cannot pollute your body.
Is he Jewish or Muslim? One of them?
No, he's Christian. Christian.
Christian
Christian.
scientists, these are one of
Christian.
those new
Oh,
wave
okay.
cult things
Yeah.
where they don't take
Oh,
medication
okay.
and
No, I
stuff.
don't think he's. I don't think he's Christian Scientist. I think he's just Christian. But that's his
Born
kind of
again.
thing, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not sure exactly what this is. And the other one is Kyrie Irving. He's the other big.
What's his reason?
Just I won't let anybody control what I put into my body. He's the same thing, the same nonsense you were talking about. The same Djokovic
But
thing.
then again, folks, let's also understand that you have the right to your personal freedom and right to
You
choice.
have the right to your personal freedom, and then the NBA has the right to tell you you're not allowed to play.
Like if I want, yeah, okay, but if I want to jump into the ocean, I should have the right to jump into the ocean, just like
You
that.
have the right to jump into the ocean,
But the
but if
only
you,
problem is here, you may take people with you in the ocean. That's the issue. That's
which is
why
why
I
the
don't have a problem with Joe
Oh,
Rogan and
oh,
Djokovic exercising
so
their right. It
actually,
didn't affect me at all.
even in this case, it's not even the NBA who's deciding not to let him play. It is the city of New York, right? City of New York has a
right.
rule, which is why again Joe Rogan can't perform over there. Is that nobody is allowed to perform if they are not vaccinated. They allow visiting players, but they don't allow their local players.
But also in Kyrie Irving's defense, I think like black people have this whole other set of rules as to why they don't want the vaccine and all, right?
You're making racist comments on the show.
No, no,
No,
what?
there is
I'm
a no, no. There are things, right? There was the CIA experimentations around the crack cocaine. There was the Tuskegee experiments. There were things. There are historical issues.
They're feeling targeted that the one racial group will be experimented on.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly that.
Well,
Exactly
you
that.
can't
But,
blame them
so
after so many years of slavery and this and that. It's not got a great record. Fair enough. Okay, I stand correct. I was worried, Silvery, that you're making some comment, like one of those
No,
relatives. You
no,
know,
what?
everybody has an old
How
relative
do
who
I?
makes some anti-Muslim comment or anti-black comment or anti-Jewish comment and not realizing how
No, no.
out of the world he sounds. Yeah,
hey, I watched a video about the founder of Zoroastrianism, Zoroaster. Nobody knows when he
Zarathustra.
was born.
No, it's not very clear. Also, even the death,
Yeah,
the
like it could
exact
be
time.
like the range was like from 7,000 BC to 2000
Well,
BC.
basically, Cyrus the Great's time, because Darius the First, who
Oh,
follows about 40 years, there's Cambyses between them, he's the first Zoroastrian king. So he's the first one who, with the sword, make sure you become a Zoroastrian. But my namesake is not.
the video
Hmm.
that I watched said that the time frame is literally a 5,000 year time frame,
No,
not
no, no,
like
no, no, not
this.
5,000. It's about 150, 200 years, 100, 150 years. It'll
Okay.
go up or down a little bit. But that's it. Because by Darius the First, it's an established religion. There's enough, you know
No,
that. There's
but at the
artifacts and
time
all.
of Cyrus the Great, there were things which made it seem like this Zoroastrianism is a legendary figure even at that point in time.
No, 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 no. So Cyrus the Great is supposedly his contemporary, and
Okay.
he does not convert. There is no Zoroastrianism. It may have started appearing at some point. They were shamanism or whatever the hell it was. It remained like that. Darius the First, there's campuses between them. He becomes the first. What's the word? Righteous,
Okay.
zealous
It
conqueror
was
with religion.
it was interesting this weekend again with nothing to do and feeling lonely by
The same
myself. I got
guys
I
who went
fell
Bradman
into
versus Tendulkar.
no, this was no, I was just going into the history videos.
Those friends, they're anti-vax, aren't they?
This was these were just history videos. Some great history channels are there, and so I kind of fell into a history video rabbit hole. So I
Yeah.
saw a bunch of different things.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing about history, the romance of it, that it cannot be so accurate either. That it
Yeah,
might be wrong or right, that so and so was a contemporary or not. I'm okay with that. I just like to keep reading and seeing what you can find.
I buy that most history is nonsense, right? I mean, not nonsense, but it is
I don't.
uh, it's so they talk about contemporary sources, right? When they talk about history,
There's one lead writer when you write about anything.
oh
That lead writer sort of shines a beacon, and
yeah,
that stays for generations after that.
yeah.
If that guy took a wrong turn, everyone follows with the same wrong turn.
No, and also, unless you're talking, see, until once you're unless you're talking about stuff which happened after newspapers became a real thing, right? Anything else, okay, is something which you're talking about that occurred at least 15 days, a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Now think about stuff from your life and write those stories that happened 5 years ago, and let's see how
You're
accurate they
talking
are.
about memory issues. I'm
Yeah,
saying that they purposely write in a certain way because they want to live, because the
yeah,
son of that king is still around, or the
correct.
grandson of that king is still around. So you got to be careful how you write things. So everything has to
Yeah.
be painted in a certain way. They have to slip through the system in a sense. So that's why you have to keep reading different people to try and figure out what really happened. But this timeline issue with the prophet, etc., and all that, that's been there forever, and it's not very clear.
I didn't know. I just found out. This was the first I ever heard of it. I thought it was a historical figure which he knew some stuff about. I again clearly it was not.
Chinggis's death coming more contemporary, 1226, 1227, 1228, all three dates are honored, for example. Yeah,
I
small
watched
stuff.
one of the videos I watched was about Genghis Khan's tomb, and how it's nobody knows where it is.
You can't find it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And of course,
which I
the whole
thought.
rumor about how those who built it were killed by the soldiers once they come back to the camp. So the soldiers
Yeah,
themselves don't know where it is. So that
yeah,
no living person knows where it is. And
yeah.
that's it. 15 minutes after it's done. So it's from deep in
Huh.
his grave, one more brutal act.
There must be archaeologists then going crazy, man, about
Oh, they're
trying
going
to
Yeah,
find that
crazy. The
tomb.
tomb will
about
give
all
them a
this
lot of,
stuff.
a lot of stuff will come
Yeah,
out of that tomb, things that were buried there.
If you want to see archaeologists really cross their eyes, talk to them about Harappa and Aryan invasion and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
stuff
yeah,
is so one is super controversial, right?
Yeah.
Because on one side, right wing is going to argue is going to attack you the second you talk about Aryan invasion. On the
Yeah.
other side,
mm,
left wing is going to attack you the second you talk about Dravidian migration from Harappa. And the truth is
Yeah.
probably some mixture of both of those things
Well,
happening.
now the guys we've had three historians on all who talk about the fact that
yeah.
the worlds didn't meet, and that's
Oh,
amazing. That the worlds didn't actually meet. They sort of collided, but they didn't meet in battle or
yeah.
anything like that. For various reasons, these guys went more south, and these guys came here,
It was a migration rather than this more than anything else, right? That's what,
or maybe forced, but not
yeah.
forced by the sword. But
And
now
maybe
we don't
even
know. We
forced
don't.
by crowding. Again, who knows?
We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if I was the guy, the guy, the South guy in the North, I'd be like, yeah, let's go there. More discipline in the South. And boom, what do you say, Silvery? हाँ ये rules regulation apply करते हैं लोग यार. Less corruption also. Only very
Yeah.
hot. And I'm not a big fan of curd rice. We have to mix this up a little bit. Listen, we're not doing any
Right.
AMAs. I'm going to go for
Yeah,
anniversary
absolutely.
dinner. Kunal has bought from
Yes,
Willingdon.
absolutely. We have
Very cheap.
quite a few emails for us.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
The first one is related to what we were just talking about. VV has a great question. He says, please tell me, how do I not piss off a close friend who seems like an anti-vaxxer? What has the world gotten into now? So basically, like, is there a way to convince
Yeah, see,
someone, okay, the vaccine is
there's no
not
way to
that bad for you?
convince. First, you have to tell them that don't worry, there'll be the prick won't hurt you. This is what most men should never say. And then the second thing is that the problem I have again, I don't have a problem with that with the idea of don't tell me what to do. I love that idea of standing up to that, but you have to think about the other people. That if you can spread the virus and this stops you spreading the virus, then that takes away the guilt of you killing 20 people, which can happen. That's basically it. It's all about the guilt factor for yourself. Forget who you are. I think that's the only way to look at it. Otherwise, people, I mean, of course, most do it for self preservation, but I'm saying those who have all these moral standards have to look at the bigger picture. I mean, when Djokovic kills 4 ball boys, why? I refuse. The ball boy dies, COVID, collapses at the net.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I in my mind, I mean, like you can't have friends who are anti-vax to that degree, right? I just can't, because it's not just this thing, right? It's not just if you cannot be anti-vax and be only anti-COVID vax. If you're anti-vax, that means that you're against the vaccinations for measles and rubella and like all these
No, there
other
were many
vaccinations.
reasons why. Then, when we go to the other reasons, I mean, then they have a leg to stand on. Like, there's not enough trials done. It's done in such a hurry. I'm very scared of the outcomes. What will be the repercussion 10 years down the line? I sit with the doctor in the morning, every morning on the gym table, and we discuss this all the time. There's no question. We have no idea what the long effects are of either getting COVID.
the
Yeah.
the mRNA vaccine that was developed by Moderna and Pfizer to an extent, those vaccines were ready in 15 days. The
Yeah.
chemical composition of what that vaccine was supposed to be was basically it was a computerized model that kind of predicted what they needed to do. This was done in 15 days. After that, the only thing they spent time on is on clinical trials, nothing else. So it's
That's not good enough. No? We still not. It's a question of how thorough you are. No one's saying that they didn't
uh,
spend time, but you take 15,
uh,
20 years to develop a vaccine. Normally, suddenly you're doing it in 2 years.
But
Not
you took 15-20 years to develop a vaccine, Cyrus, in an age when basically the amount of computing you had.
But I'm just saying, for the naysayers and for the cynics out there, they do have a leg to stand on because they're like, hey, excuse me, science can't just change rapidly like that, even with technology.
Yeah, it can. I'm sorry, but I
Okay,
mean, like,
you're being positive, they're being negative. I'm in the middle. I'm just doing it so that people get off my back.
I see the way I would see this, right, is that just consider the tech that you use around yourself. Okay, think of your car. Okay, compare your car that you have today to the car that you had 20 years
In
ago.
5 years, we've zoomed
Yeah,
ahead. We've zoomed ahead. Yeah, and obviously that means faster time for everything. I
yeah,
mean, I used to write letters, which would go to somebody in
exactly.
Hyderabad or whatever, which took a week. Now I send a
Yeah,
text, it takes about 2 days because of
yeah,
the Wi-Fi
network.
issues,
Typing.
network.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I get your point, but I'm still saying they still have a leg. because we don't know. What
Not
if
much of
10 years
one.
from now, Silverie grows, 7 chests? He's like Ravan with chests instead of heads. Well, we don't know. I mean, what could happen? I could get hooves.
I don't want to say something like that is impossible or something like that's impossible, right? In the sense that if you look at just I mean like what is science, right? Fundamentally, what is science? Science is basically trying to find something repeatable, right? Take a phenomena, apply stimuli,
Yeah. So
and
the data they've given us, the empirical truth of the whole
yeah,
thing is 89% possible and 92% and all, and they've got as close as possible, and the world is bought it, and we've done it. All I'm saying is there's a window out there, a small percentage of chance, a little bit, just a minor possibility that there'll be repercussions that we have not gone into because it's not been as thorough as it could have been if they had a little more time. That's all. And hence, when they make this argument, my lord, I'm just saying that they have a leg to stand on. It's probably being negative, and you're right. It's been pretty tough for the age.
they've done it. They've done the tests, man. I mean, like see, do we know for sure that there is not going to be something out of complete left field that will happen over here? You don't know that for anything. We don't know that for I mean, like what products do you use today that have tested out for 40 years and have
What
like a
if,
40-year testing behind it?
I
Nobody
mean,
does.
a miracle could happen. The vaccine finally falls into Joe Rogan and he grows hair, for example.
That could happen.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
he'll be thankful at the end of it, 5 years down the
All
line.
things are possible.
Okay, we take
Maybe
one
that's
last
why he
one.
doesn't like. Yeah, sure.
Sorry,
Next
say,
one.
finish your point. Finish your point.
No,
Is that
I'm just saying maybe
that's
that's
why?
why he doesn't want to get the vaccine because he doesn't want hair. He likes himself bald. So that's why. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on to the Karun Caustic's question. He says, Cyrus, was it your voice in the Swiggy Instamart ad? It sounded
Yeah.
like you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. A lot of last minute work in December came. What to do? One has to work when the sun is
But
shining
that's
or get
good.
this pandemic fear. God knows.
That is
They shut.
good. But Instamart does not deliver to our houses in 10 minutes, just so you know.
Hey,
Oh,
don't
really?
shoot the messenger. You're
I'm
shooting
just
the
saying.
Wait,
messenger. Okay, in
Instamart
this
doesn't have
case,
a
shoot the
10-minute thing.
messenger. You have to
Huh?
shoot the messenger.
They do. They have 10 minutes in our office. They have 45 minutes at home.
I thought
Oh.
10 minutes was
Mhm.
another group. What's it called? I forgot the
No,
name.
Zepto. That was Zepto. Yeah, that's all.
there's
Yeah, Zeppo.
Zepto, there is
Zepto.
Grofers, which became Blink to it. All of them are 10 minutes.
Okay.
Folks, I'm being called for anniversary dinner. And Amit, you
Please,
have a
please, a couple of question emails
they're
more. We've
asking
only got two.
anniversary questions. My daughter's hand is here and she's
Sorry,
pulling me.
Maya.
Fast, quick. They're
Yep,
saying
sure.
one last
Next one.
question. Yeah.
There's a question for Amit also, voice related. He says, Amit, if Google Maps approached you to be the new voice for their navigation system, would you consider
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Road. That's not what you want to hear.
I love
It's really
that.
not.
I love that. It makes me really happy when with
Yeah.
the infections on the Indian names. Or
Y-
please do it, Amit.
You really, really don't want to hear that.
No. I do. Those are the things that when your life, 21 years of marriage, that's what makes you happy. Don't shut it.
No. I think what's his name? So there's an app called damn it, it was a Garmin app. Garmin.
Talk faster. I'm under pressure.
Okay, that's fine. So Garmin basically used to do this. You could do voices, right? So you could get direction voices in Darth Vader's voice. You could get direction voices in like a different, a whole bunch of different things, right? There are only like some 50 phrases required for most of the
I love
directions.
this. Can we get it in Lalu Prasad's voice?
You
Or
can
can
do
we
it
get
in it's. I'll need to look into this. This was a
if Lalu
20-year-old thing,
Prasad
I remember.
studied in Liverpool University, what would he sound like? Silvery, last chance. Okay, I'm going. I'm done. Okay, my daughter's
Uh,
getting very angry. We have to stop.
okay. Okay,
Quickly.
fine. We can stop. What is the line again?
Liverpudlian and Bihari accent together.
Okay, no. What is the line? What do I have to do? What do I have to say?
Welcome to Maharishi Karve Road.
Okay. Welcome to Maharishi Karve Road.
That's
Is
Liverpool.
that
Where's the Bihari inflection?
okay? It's the lips. It's like, oh, welcome to
Of course,
whatever
Bihari ban gaya.
that road.
I
terrible
want
at this.
both together. You work on this.
I'm
You work on
terrible
this.
at
That's
that.
your
Both of
homework
them.
for the week. All
Cool.
right.
Liverpool
Bye,
and Bihari.
guys.
God. We'll do it.
My daughter's pulling out the plug, literally, which she'll do with my life at one point, right? Bye, everybody. Happy anniversary. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Are you looking for finance products and services that can enhance your personal finance experience? Are you looking for a space to talk about your financial product or service? And are you looking for a crisp talk show where the conversation is all about money? Well, your search ends here. Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta and I'm host of the Paisa Paisa podcast, and I invite you for the conversation about your personal finance on each Monday on the IVM podcast app or the website or on any podcast streaming platforms. See you folks.